All right, Larry Krueger down here at Levi's Stadium getting ready for training camp practice number 8. And today we're doing a video on are the 49ers quarterbacks good enough to win with? And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. Get the brisket chili. Say hi to Damon, say hi to Mary. And go check out Pig and a Pickle. All right. Are the Niners quarterbacks good enough to win with? I'm bringing this up today because I was watching Grant yesterday on YouTube, and he's at the point where he doesn't think that the Niners quarterbacks are good enough to win with. And he doesn't think any of them are good enough to win with. Now, I'm a lot more optimistic about Brock, I think, than probably Grant is. I'm a Brock Purdy believer. I think Purdy played really, really well as a rookie. He didn't lose a single game that he started and finished. He was the first quarterback in 50, or the third quarterback in like 52 years to win 2 playoff games in his rookie year. The guy played really good football, and that was as a rookie where he barely knew the offense. He barely knew the formations. He didn't even start until, its second week in December. And he played well in the preseason, sat from August through December, then got in there in December and took off. I really like Brock Purdy's chances of improving in year 2. I asked him during the minicamp, I said, where are you now compared to where you were at last year at this time? And he's like, oh, night and day. Last year I was just walking to the line of scrimmage, just trying to remember the play, trying to remember the formations, trying to be able to verbalize it correctly inside the huddle. Now I know the entire playbook. I know it like the back of my hand. I'm now can focus on the nuances of executing these plays, and I'm in a totally different spot. It's a world of difference between last year and this year. For that reason alone, Brock Purdy, I think, is going to improve significantly from last year to this year, and I think you'll see a much improved player. Forget Brock for a second. Just talk about NFL football players. They typically improve the most from year 1 to year 2. And I think we're going to see Brock improve dramatically from year 1 to year 2. There are other reasons, though, I think the 49ers are good enough with their current crop of quarterbacks to win this year. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel all look like they're primed for breakout years. I mean, these guys all look like they could have career years. McCaffrey is just been monster starting in the OTAs. The guy's playing at a different speed than everybody else. Fast forward to training camp. Now we're a week in, and we still got roughly a month to go. But Brandon Ayuk is catching absolutely everything. I mean, he is just on a totally different level than where he was last year. Deebo Samuel told us in the mini camps that he sucked last year and that he was hell-bent on being better, and then he showed up in the best shape I've ever seen him in. So you got McCaffrey, Ayuk, and Deebo all primed for career years. The Niners are going to throw the ball around a lot. I think Colton McKivitz is going to be a significant upgrade as a pass protector from Mike McGlinchey. McGlinchey was a really good run blocker, but McKivitz, I think, has potential to be a much better pass protector than McGlinchey was. I asked Spencer Burford yesterday after practice, I said, communication is big on the offensive line. How are you you and McKivitz coming together? How's your communication? And he's like, oh man, I forget the term that he used, but he's like, we're in lockstep basically, and we're great tandem. We're communicating. I think the 49ers on the right side with Burford in year 2 and McKivitz taking over for McGlinchey are going to be much better pass protectors than what the Niners had a year ago on the right side. Then you mix in the fact that the Niners have a top-tier defense. This is going to be it's going to be a top 5 defense. They were number 1 in the league last year. They got Nick Bosa. They've got Fred Warner. They've got outstanding players, Charvarius Ward on the back end, and they've got great players on all 3 levels of their defense. The Niners, I question a little bit the depth of edge rushers, but I believe in Kasarik to bring along, these lesser players and turn them into something. Taco Charlton is an interesting guy. Robert Beal Jr. has got a lot of talent. Drake Jackson in year 2, I think, is going to be quite a bit better. So I think the Niners up front have a potential to be pretty good. Obviously, you're adding Javon Hargrave. That's going to help Armstead be quite a bit better. I really think there's a chance that the Niners defense could be, I don't know if it's going to be number 1 in the league, but it's going to be a top 5 defense. Then you got Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner and some really good, talented young linebackers around those guys. Hufanga is getting nothing but better. Tayshaun Gibson now knows this defense. I think Steve Wilkes is likely to really improve their play in the secondary. A couple young guys in the secondary that need to be mentioned as well are Samuel Womack III and Deshaun Jameson. This secondary now has 2 young corners that can really run, that can play outside or inside. I mean, these guys really look great on the practice field. Womack, I think, is going to take it to another level. And you heard Brandon Ayuk the other day kind of shout out Deshaun Jameson. So those are 2 young corners that I think are really going to emerge this year on the back end. Jair Brown is brought into the mix as well. Hufanga is a year more experienced. Gibson knows this defense a little bit better. Lenore is taking his game to the next level. I mean, he's actually lost weight, or he's put on weight, but he's kind of repositioned it. It's like more muscle, and he's just in great shape. He worked out at the Mamba Center in Southern California in the offseason. He looks primed for a big year. So the other thing that, they've got the Niners have a really deep group of running backs and a very strong run game. TDP and Jordan Mason really look like they're going to be guys that are going to be used in a rotation. You got an all-pro fullback. You got maybe as good a back as there is in the game in Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, J.P. Mason, Ty Davis-Price, even Kalen Laburn has looked really, really good. The Niners can run the ball. They're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to play action pass off of it, and for that reason, I think Brock Purdy is not the kind of quarterback that can shoulder the load by himself. If you're going to say, hey, Brock, you jump onto the whatever team and lead them to a Super Bowl, that probably is asking too much. But he doesn't have to do that here. He's got maybe the best collection of weapons. He loves going to the tight end. He's got George Kittle. George Kittle's an all-world tight end. He's got 3 receivers in McCaffrey and Ayuk and Debo that look primed for career years. I think you got a better right side of the offensive line. You've got a depth of weapons that really is strong. If Brock Purdy had to do this all by himself, I could see it. But I think the 49ers are plenty good enough with Brock Purdy. Now, Sam Darnold and Trey Lance, those are young quarterbacks who are evolving and improving, and I'm not sure exactly if the Niners are a Super Bowl team this year with those 2 guys, right? That might be asking a lot. But I think Purdy's improvement from year 1 to year 2 will be significant. I think people that are grading him super tough here early in camp don't know what they're talking about. This guy completed 70% of his passes yesterday against the number 1 defense in the NFL, and people were like, it wasn't that great. Most of those same people were saying he wasn't even going to play until the week 6 or week 7 because of this elbow. He's recovered from the elbow, showing no ill effects, throwing the ball pretty damn well. He's surrounded by a lot of momentum, a coaching staff and an organization that's geared to win this year. I think the 49er quarterbacks, you asked me that question, are the Niner quarterbacks good enough to win a Super Bowl with this year? And I would answer with one question, one word answer. Absolutely. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube. Beautiful day in Santa Clara, getting ready to head out to practice. Time to get it. Have a great day, everybody.